Hello, and welcome to the episode of Todd Talks. Todd Talks people listen. Hopefully. Here we are again, everybody, and it's time for another Death Battle preview in what might be one of the most cold-blooded death battles ever, because we have Gray Fullbuster from Fairy Tail versus Esdeath from Agami Got Killed. And let me just say that I came into this one with no expectations, mainly because I didn't really know these characters. I mean, I knew Fairy Tail only because of loose things I see on the internet and Death Battle, including Natsu and Urza Scarlet. I had never even heard of Agami Got Killed. I mean, I've heard of Kill la Kill, but not Agami Got Killed, which makes you wonder why there's so much kill in the titles of animes. But it's Japan. What are you gonna do? So I had no expectations on this one. I had no idea what to expect, and some of you, including Black Lightning and Natsu, ironically enough, a user named Natsu, they were like, "Oh, it's this person. This person's gonna win." And yet, the more I looked at this, I'm not so sure that that's the case. But we'll get into it. So let's dive right in, starting with Gray Fullbuster. Gray was from a northern part of the world of Fairy Tail, and when he was a kid, a demon came along and wiped out his whole village except for him, which seems to happen all the time in Fairy Tail. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, and this led to him getting adopted by a ice make magic user named U-R. Like, that's how you spell it, U-R. Anyway. Sorry. And she decided to teach him the ways of ice make magic as well as being a Chippendale, but that's another story entirely. Anyway, so because of this, he learned all kinds of ice making techniques, including the ability to form ice into just about anything he wanted. And as they teased in the death battle, he decided to go off half-cocked against the demon who killed everyone he knew, and so this led to another tragic part of his life where sacrificed herself via the ice shell technique, which literally freezes an opponent solid, like potentially for eternity, outside of like this really weird circumstance. And the person who used the technique literally has their body erased. Think of it like the Thanos snap, but instead of turning into dust, they turn into ice, and that the ice is actually what covers the person that they just froze. So it's like the ultimate sacrifice move. Okay, very anime. So after this, Ur's two disciples, Gray and Leon, separate because Leon blamed Gray for Ur's death, and before sacrificing herself, said, "You need to find stronger people, look for mages in the West." And that's what led him to the Fairy Tail Guild, where he became one of their most powerful users and one of their most crazy users because he just doesn't like to keep his clothes on. Which, for you Juvia Gray shippers out there, which I read their entire history, dear gosh in heaven, get anime. What are you gonna do? It's crazy. Both of them are crazy. Esdeath and Gray. But anyway, so as he worked his way up through the guild and became an S-class mage, which is the highest class of mage, he became a true master of not just fighting techniques, but his ice techniques. He can use his ice to make just about anything you can imagine. Blades, swords. I said blades and swords right after each other. I apologize. Blades, hammers, staircases like Iceman, or slides, just like Iceman. He can create bows and arrows. He can create icicles. He can create a giant hand that can grab you, and on and on and on. It's literally up to his imagination, and the only restraint to him is the amount of magic that he has within him. But as an S-class mage, obviously, he has a lot of magic within his body. However, after an encounter with his reanimated father, anime, he also got the ability of Demon Slayer magic. Or, sorry, Ice Demon Slayer magic, which is very, very, very specific. And not unlike a certain fire-breathing dragon kid that we all know and love, Gray has the ability to absorb ice in order to replenish his magic. Though, to my knowledge, based on what I saw, unlike Natsu, it does not require it to be his own ice. It can be any ice, but still, any ice he finds, he can eat, just crazy, and absorb it to replenish his own magic. And because of this, he is one of the Fairy Tale Guild's most powerful members. He is constantly battling with Natsu, both for fun and for practice. He has taken on the Thunder God tribe and beaten them even when injured. He's faced Leon, his ice rival, because of numerous times. Lost a few times because of disappointment in himself, but then came back and defeated him multiple times afterwards. He's fought other members of the Fairy Tale Guild at times. He's fought many of their enemies. He's helped defeat Hades. He's defeated whole armies on his own. He's defeated entire monsters, like scores of monsters on his own, including a giant sand golem, which he literally like snapped into ice in like seconds, mere seconds. He defeated a giant fish monster when he was a kid. Like this is before he joined Fairy Tale, and so on and so forth. So Gray has a very powerful moveset, and not just because of his versatility, but because of his own skills. He is skilled in with any weapon that he makes with his ice, whether it be a sword, a hammer, or anything else. He is extremely capable as a swordsman, and he's got a lot of experience because of his time with Fairy Tale Guild. And then when it comes to even hand-to-hand combat, he's able to go up with incredible fighters, both in the guild and without. His speed matches Natsu at points, which means he's vastly hypersonic. Natsu has stated he could go at least 9,000 miles per hour, and Gray can keep up with him. Gray's reaction speed is so good that he can actually freeze things in midair, or even freeze people solid at points. And as I mentioned, the sand golem technique, where he just flicked his wrist and turned into ice. And at one point, he is able to literally raise an ice shield. It was getting melted, and he actually froze the thing that was melting it. He could freeze boiling water, which should be impossible, and especially this boiling water, and fire, including Natsu's fire, and pale facsimiles of it. And then because of his ice nature, not unlike Hiei or Natsu, he is incredibly resistant or immune to ice-type abilities. The only thing that's his weakness, if we're being honest, is his personality at times. It can get, he's pretty lax at first, but then when he gets serious, he can really take it up a notch, which has been seen numerous times, including the time that Juvia died right in front of him. Wasn't happy. Tear. And again, his clothes. It's just like he doesn't even care. He's like, why? Why are you stripping? Again, Juvia likes it, but like nobody else does. Okay, so. Yeah, he's really interesting, and I honestly wish you know how I want to pause here. You know how long it took me to actually find a history of Gray? I was finding like everything about his abilities, his powers, and all that, but it was like it took me like 6 or 7 tries just to find a good history page, and that's where I literally read like every Fairy Tale arc I could. I spent like an hour and a half researching Gray and Esdeath just to make sure that I had all their abilities, because I had a feeling this was gonna get crazy, and it was. Now, because of his ice magic and his ice demon slayer magic, he is able to invoke certain superpowers within himself, like modes, kind of like how Natsu had all his dragon forms. He is able to do a couple of destruction forms where he can actually impale people with ice in incredible fashion, or even just blow them up with ice, because why not? He can make an ice bazooka, which I really like, and like fire ice to deal serious damage. So, anime. I should just do a counter. I should have a counter like right here for how many times I say anime, because it's gonna be a lot in this one, and so on and so forth. So Gray is an incredible foe. He is one of the Fairy Tale's best, and he has proven himself time and time again, which is good because Esdeath is crazy. All right, in the land of Agami got killed. Still can't get over that name. She was born in the north, and she followed the mantra of her father that the strong will survive and the weak will perish, aka survival of the fittest. She get along with Apocalypse from X-Men. And one day her father died, and she didn't, swear revenge against the person who, tried to kill him, or, try and get stronger to, honor his memory. She's like, he weak, me strong, me go. And that's what she did. So she went to the Empire to the south, and almost instantly became one of the most feared fighters in the realm because of her skill. And then one day, after proving her loyalty and her skills to the Emperor, he decided to give her a boost, if you will. This boost was called one of the Imperial Arms, and the one she chose was the Demon's Extract, which is a terrible name. Anime, ding. So using the Demon's Extract, she had the ability to use some of its power. Now, it's recommended that you only drink like a cup's worth of this thing. She drank it all, which should have rendered her absolutely insane. One problem, she's already insane. And so she was able to resist its effects and gain the ability to literally summon and control ice at will. With this power of the Imperial Arm, I'm sorry, I forgot the other name. It's like Tengui or something like that. And she was able to further cement herself as one of the deadliest fighters and leaders in the entire empire. She was able to stop rebellions all on her own and controlled armies with such efficiency that the empire grew even stronger. At one point, she literally had her army, I'm going to try and phrase this nicely, let's just say decimate a village, and the leader of the village had to watch this, and she wanted him to watch so that he would break. And when he broke, she had him stripped naked and lick her boots. Yes, lick her boots. Just making sure clear here. And then after he did so, she kicked him so hard he died. Yeah, she really kicked him so hard his head either got caved in or it's a lot of implied stuff, but it's anime. Ding. So what are you gonna do? Now, if there was something to mention about her sanity or lack thereof, is that not only does she love it, but she loves it so much that she has a diluted sense of what love is. In fact, she actually went to the Emperor after proving her loyalty at certain points and gave him and like one of his advisors a list saying, "Hey, I want to try out love. Let's see how it goes." And she lists like certain things that she actually had to have a mate, and then she holds a tournament to help find the next recipient of an Imperial arm, and that's where she met Tatsumi. Her, what's the right word? Unrequited love interest. There we go. And so she falls for him because of his smile and his strength. Except he's actually on the other side. He's actually trying to, beat the Emperor and all that, and the Emperor she serves. And so she doesn't care. She's just like, "Oh, you'll be fine. I'll turn you on my side." It doesn't work out. But and I mean, it really doesn't work out. I mean, seriously. Well, read this. I read the entire storyline of Agami Got Killed from the viewpoint of Tatsumi and Esdeath and anime. Ding. Yes, I know there's not actually a number there. Just imagine the number. Okay. So, but with her ice abilities, she is able to literally like just create anything that she desires to an extent. She does have limits as to how big she can go. Like, for example, in the manga, she created an army, an ice army, not a nice army, an ice army, just to be clear. But it took her a couple days to do so. And then other times she's created but she's also frozen an entire river that was blocking her army from crossing between two pieces of land in a snap. So there was that. She's created entire snowstorms and blizzards that can engulf regions. It's even stated that she has the force of an actual natural disaster, which is crazy, but fun. And then, of course, she also has the ability to literally summon meteor-sized balls of ice and just drop them on people. Because why not? It's anime! Dang! So, and then, of course, there is her trump card, which is the time stop, where she literally freezes time around her. Uses ice to freeze time. I'm not even going to say it. You know the word to say here. So with this, she helped lead numerous armies to victory. She's won against many of the Agami Got Killed characters on her own, including fighting 3 of the main characters at once. She was able to, apparently in Agami Got Killed, they have a slight precognition where they can sense murderous intent around them, and she's able to react to that. It's not full precognition, as she did die at the end of the series. But still, and she was able to go up against various foes without much effort, just because she had all this power of her natural ability and the Imperial arm of the Demon Extract. I hate that name. Uh, what? I can hate names. So, and then the only reason she died was because of certain circumstances and distractions and superpowered weapons, because it's anime. Ding. So yeah, and then depending on the media you're viewing, she either died with Tatsumi or without Tatsumi. It literally depends. Is in the manga, it's stated that she dies alone after she gets impaled, and she dies not being able to see Tatsumi again, who had already been corrupted and turned into a tyrant. And then in the anime, he dies, and then she holds his body while she dies, because she's dead first, and turns him to ice so that they can be together forever. And anime, ding. So yeah, Esme is pretty vicious, and she's a sadist. I mean, I don't know if I made that clear before. I think the licking the boots thing is kind of proof of that. But she actually is a master of torture. She likes finding new ways of torturing people, and she's even tried to use her ice powers in new ways to try and torture people. So yeah, that's kind of mean. And with her rapier, which is her a weapon of choice, she's more than willing to use certain vital points to either kill people or just cause them extreme pain. So, yeah. Anime! Ding! So, alright. So, who wins in a battle between Gray and Esdeath? Now, this one I think is a lot closer than people getting credit for, which we've seen before with Ben 10 and Green Lantern. So, I gotta caution you, do not take this lightly. And I'm fully willing to admit that I might be wrong, because there is a big question mark that we have to ask here. Can Gray avoid the time stop? This isn't, honestly, I don't think this is about ice magic or anything else. It's about, can Gray avoid the time stop? And I don't know. Okay, because as a ice make magic user, these names. As an ice make magic user and an ice demon slayer magic user, he is resistant to ice attacks and at times immune to them, which is why him and Leon can go at it without damaging themselves too much, because their ice literally doesn't work on each other. Think of it like X-Men, where Havoc and Cyclops are brothers, and so their powers are like slightly muted against each other. It's a genetic thing. So because of that, his magic allows him to endure ice attacks, or even be immune to ice attacks. Esdeath's time stop is an ice ability. So the question here is, because of his immunity or resistance to ice, does that mean he's resistant to the time stop? I don't know. And here's the thing. We have to remember a certain thing about Death Battle. They will not make a leap. I know a lot of you out there accuse them of doing this, but they will not make a leap in judgment if they don't have anything to support it. And the two great examples are Natsu and Ace and Wonder Woman and Thor. Everyone knows that Wonder Woman in the DC Comics universe is the most pure and, I'm going to say beautiful, well, she is, but pure and, what's the word? I don't want to say pure. Benevolent, kind, caring, loving person on the world. I mean, that's what makes her Wonder Woman. She's mean at times, but she's doing it against enemies, all right? But she herself is pure. There's no doubt in any of our minds that she can lift Mjolnir. But because she's not in the Marvel Universe, we can't say definitively that she can. Even though there was a crossover that technically said it, that was a little weird. But also that crossover said that Storm could beat Wonder Woman. We all know that's bullcrap. So, and then the other one was Natsu Ace, because Ace is made of fire because of his the fruit, the devil fruit. There we go, the devil fruit. And so he's made of fire. Natsu eats fire. So couldn't Natsu eat Ace? We don't know. And that's why they didn't make that leap, because it's like, could he do it technically? But also ice can change when his body is fire or not, right? So he wouldn't allow that to happen, because he would have to be in continuous fire for Natsu to anyway. So again, there's the leap. We don't know if Natsu can eat a person made of fire, because technically that's never happened in Fairy Tail. And Wonder Woman can't lift Mjolnir because technically that never happened in DC Comics lore. definitively. So can Gray escape the time stop? I don't know. And so if that's the case, doesn't that mean that Esdeath can win? Because she doesn't need ice to kill him. She has a rapier. But then that's the other question here, is that does Gray have anything to counter the time stop? Not resist, counter it, and he does. He has the ice clone technique, which is very much Sub-Zero. All right, he can actually make clones of himself that look so good, so realistic that it can be killed and you don't notice it until you actually look carefully at it. Including, I think it was Lucy actually got duped into thinking that Gray had died because she was looking at a dead version of this clone, and then he appeared off panel and then came in and was like, oh yeah, it was just a clone. So if we're being technical, by the laws of Death Battle, they go for like the best techniques first, right? So I would think that if SB tries to stop time, he would do the clone technique to trick her, make her think he was dead, and then, you know, do his dirty work once the time stop happens. Because here's the trick. She can use the time stop once a day. That's specifically stated in the lore. She can use it once a day. That's why it's her trump card. All right. So if she uses it and she misses, if she fails to kill him after the time stop, then all bets are off. And so that's because I don't know if Gray can technically defuse the time stop or resist the time stop. I'm thinking about it in the sense of he can or he might, and can he win after that? Because I can't definitively say, based on the research that I did, that he can resist the time stop. And even if he didn't, there's the question of can Esdeath kill him? Because she can't kill him with ice. That's all but proven. Ice magic will not work against Gray, and he can absorb it to make himself even more powerful. So the question then goes, what does she have to kill him? Well, she has the rapier, which he has been stabbed and killed twice by various other weapons. There was a time reset. But so he can die. We've seen that happen multiple times in the Fairy Tale series, and he's been helped out multiple times because of this. Also, Esdeath has ice armor, but that wouldn't really work because he can just manipulate it and absorb it should he need to. And it's even stated that Gray can technically manipulate other ice that's not made by him. So it's just this really complicated thing of, you know, who's faster, who's stronger, who's more durable. Speed-wise, I'm going to give the edge to Esdeath. Esdeath can, I think, summon her ice forms faster based on things I've seen. But again, we've also seen Gray freeze an entire sand golem with the flick of her wrist. But his summons sometimes take time, and that hurts. But then again, he goes his same for Esdeath. And with Gray, he can absorb ice. She can't. She's slightly resistant to cold, but it's to temperatures, not the ice attacks itself. You know, she could summon Gray in ice storms, but it won't matter if he's resistant to it all, just like Natsu with fire. And with Gray, he has a whole bunch of weapons. He is very capable in combat. He goes up against people like Natsu and Urza and all the enemies that they fought in the Fairy Tale Guild. So he's experienced, but so is Esdeath. Esdeath led armies. And, you know, she's had years of experience. He's had years of experience. It's really down the middle here. All right? We can scale Gray to Natsu because of their constant battles with each other and the various opponents that they face. So he's as strong as Natsu, who's been able to blow up a city, defeat like 1,000 soldiers on his own, and so on and so forth. And his speed was over 9,000 miles per hour. Esdeath has been stated to actually dodge lightning. I couldn't find that particular clip, but I trust the wiki that I saw it in. So, and then in a clip, Urza actually hit Natsu and Gray with lightning. Now, we're not certain that this was, you know, and they said like, oh, it was too fast, we can't dodge. I don't know what point in time that was in, so that could have been after, that could have been before one of the time skips, it could have been after one of the time skips. I don't know. So speed-wise, I got to give to Esdeath. Imagine if Esdeath met Urza. Ooh, boy. So many jokes. You know, Gray, I think, is stronger. I mean, I know it's hilarious because we saw Esdeath with the ice meteor feat, but you know, that won't matter to him. And Esdeath has gone toe to toe with Natsu, who can lift a 135-ton boulder just with his bare hands. So, and speed-wise, he's gone toe to toe with Natsu, so that makes him hypersonic. Durability is the question mark here because Esdeath doesn't get hit a lot. So her only hits were against Tatsumi, who had to use his own resistance to the time stop to hit her, and Agami, who killed Esdeath in the end. So we really don't know what her durability is. So doesn't it? But we know Gray's durability because he's been in constant battle. He gets hit a lot, and he keeps getting back up. He's fought when injured. He's fought when exhausted. He's fought when he has no magic. So technically speaking, I would actually give the advantage to Gray because we know his durability, and yet we saw Esdeath get hit multiple times, and while she did get back up, it eventually led to her death. But again, we saw Gray die too. It's too complicated. So this would usually be a point where I pull like a Mega Man and say I abstain because I don't understand this crap. But anime, dang, haven't done like 5 minutes. But I'm gonna have to give the edge to Gray. It's slight. This is not a blowout like I think people think it is, but it is slight. I think he has a way to get around the time stop, which can only be used once a day. And for all you people who was like, why wouldn't you use the ice shell or the lost ice shell? A, that'd be like an All Might Might Guy situation. B, he technically dies, so that's cheating. And yes, I know 8th Gate of Death was used in the All Might Guy death battle. They specifically stated in the afterwards that technically Guy didn't need it. They just showed it in the death battle to go all out and show you what you wanted to see. He technically could have beaten All Might with like 5th or 6th Gate. Anyway, which wouldn't have killed him. Anyway, so Gray won't use it ever, period, which I know was what you say about Might Guy, but this is specifically, it would not matter. All right, and it's complicated. So based on the techniques I saw, based on what I've read about these characters, based on what I believe can happen in this battle and what will happen in this battle, I have to give the edge to Gray. And I'm picking Gray full bust to win this battle slightly. And if I am wrong, and I know a lot of you are picking Gray, but if I am wrong, I'm not going to be mad because this is, again, one of those leaps in logic where you have to just take blind faith. So, anime, ding. With that, I'm in this episode of Todd Talk. Who do you think is going to win between Gray and Esdeath, and why? How close do you think this is going to be? And of course, who do you think is going to be in the next episode, which I hope is a 3D death battle. We've been out, this is our 5th episode of the season, and we haven't had a 3D death battle. I need a 3D death battle. So let me know in the comments below. So I thank you for watching. Made as far I know you were listening, and I'll see you around.